I can't tell you what's respectful. I can't tell you what's reverent. I can't even tell you what's responsible because I don't live your life. But I can guide you into a deeper inquiry so that you can be more honest with yourself. Today, we're going to have a bit of a conversation. I'm going to give you an update on how things have been going for me in my business and some of the things that I'm seeing. First off, if you're new here, because I've had quite a few brand new followers, hey, I'm Stefania. I'm really known for serving reverence, which is a deep embodied sense of respect. And it's really funny because reverence and respect in general has been a topic that has weaved its way through my entire life. Like, I remember growing up and hearing the sentence of like, you get respect where you give respect. And so it always felt like respect itself was this commodity to be traded. And it wasn't until, a handful of years ago, I was surrounded by a lot of like self-love people who were like, oh, I just want to love myself. And I'm like, you might love yourself, but you sure shit don't respect yourself. Like, you don't do things that are self-honoring, that are self-respecting. You're loving yourself by pursuing all of these addictive behaviors. Like, none of this feels like it's truly getting you anywhere other than like mental masturbation. And so that's when I first started working with this idea that we could have reverence, a deep embodied sense of respect for the truth within us and the truth that's unfolding in our lives. And so basically what that means is you take a moment and you really self-assess of, is this the best use of my time, money, and energy? Is this the most respectful use of my resources in my life? Or is it better spent somewhere else? Now, this question can feel really heavy and it can feel really intense. But at the end of the day, the answer is yours. I can't tell you what's respectful. I can't tell you what's reverent. I can't even tell you what's responsible because I don't live your life. But I can guide you into a deeper inquiry so that you can be more honest with yourself. Because that's actually the issue that most people face, is the vulnerability, the intensity, the intimacy of being personally honest. To actually turn around and say, you know what? I can't keep using my life this way. I can't keep using my energy this way. I can't keep using my money this way. I can't keep using my time this way. Because to actually make that admission to ourselves, we have to simultaneously admit that we have self-harmed in some way. To fully admit that, like, fuck me, I have used my time, I have used my energy in a really disrespectful way. Because now I'm sitting here facing bills I can't pay, facing relationships I don't want to be a part of, facing a job that I hate, whatever it is. And it's like, what got you there was the degree that you were willing to not respect the truth of who you are. For example, if you are someone who wants to live a soft life, maybe a labor job ain't for you. But you've convinced yourself that you need to go pursue a labor-based job because of the self-disrespecting belief systems you have internally. Now, once you decide that you're actually going to start respecting yourself and you're going to start respecting your resources that are naturally yours, what ends up happening is shit starts to shift all by itself. The moment I started doing things that were more aligned to respecting myself, not loving myself, but respecting myself on the most foundational level. Because loving myself meant that I had some toxic relationships. Loving myself meant that I could psychologically gaslight myself into things that weren't actually aligned for me. And so once I started behaving in a more self-respecting way, I started looking at things a little bit more objectively. I started noticing that I was paying for things that weren't true to be paid for, that I was maintaining relationships that weren't true to maintain. And so I let go of friendships that were exhausting. I canceled subscriptions that were extractive. I stopped allowing myself to entertain things that felt energetically exploitive. Naturally, what happens on the back end of that is you get more money, you get more time, you get more energy because you're literally not wasting your money on things that aren't true. You're not wasting your time maintaining things that were meant to go. And you're not wasting your energy on things that are extracting it. You will naturally start to see that the leaks that you've closed in your life allow you to have more. So once you get really good at that, you just have more. But here's the thing. What got you here won't take you there. Okay. So there comes a point in your journey where canceling subscriptions, ending untrue relationships, being more discerning with how you use your energy, that's just the basics. That's not actually where the expansion or the growth happens. The expansion and the growth happens at a pivot in your life, at a cornerstone, or what's the term that people are using nowadays? I can't remember what it is. But essentially what ends up happening is there's a point where like what you've been doing is great and you should continue doing it, but you're like, fuck, I feel stuck. I feel stiff. Like I've been respecting myself all up to this point, and it's been great and it's been flowing, and I've had more money and more energy and more time. And then now I'm at the spot where I'm like, fuck me. I do want more than plenty. I know I have bigger desires. I know I have bigger dreams, and I know I have more to come through me, but I feel fucking tight. I feel stiff. I feel stuck. If this is where you're at, I just want to first say, get used to it, because this will happen at every up level, that you are going to be asked to be even more discerning and to be even more discriminatory with where you put your time and energy. But the thing is that this spot where you feel stuck, stiff, stagnant, is that you're not looking for where the openings are, for where the energy naturally flows. You're so focused on that you feel stuck and stiff that you can't see where the opportunities lie. And so when money starts to feel stiff, when energy starts to feel stiff, what it says is that you're actually totally disassociated from reality, because money is never stiff. Energy is never stagnant. It's always moving. But when we have disconnected from the fluidity of it all, we are the ones making it stuck and stiff. So here's what I want you to do. If you're in this spot where you're like, fuck me, everything in my life feels stiff and stagnant and I don't know what to do, I want you to lean back. I want you to take a breath. Sigh it out. I want you to go look at your bank account. I want you to look at how money's leaving to pay bills, whether that's your utility bill to keep you warm in the winter, whether that's your phone bill to keep you connected to loved ones, whether that's paying your internet so you can run your business and stay connected with friends globally, whether that's paying your rent so you have a roof over your head. I want you to see that money's already flowing. Now, don't get stuck on the fact that it's flowing out. I just want you to see that it's flowing. It's already moving. Now, the thing is, you might then be like, but Steph, I don't have enough flowing in right now. That's where I'm stiff. That's where I'm stagnant. I totally get it. Take a fucking breath, because you cannot be stiff and stagnant where something is already flowing. Waters are already flowing. If you weren't spending any money and you weren't bringing in money, I would have a completely different prescription for you. But you have money flowing out, which means that you are creating space for more money to come in. I want you to go look at your calendar. I want you to go look at where you've spent your time and energy. Now, this is where people get really messed up, because they don't actually recognize that they're spending their time and their energy in extractive ways. Money will always be flowing in and out, whether or not you're consciously participating. But time and energy are actually the most subtle and painful if you're not paying attention to them. So go look at your calendar and look at, what did I do this week? Where did my time and my energy go? Because it's already flowing. It's not actually stiff or stagnant. And you might say, oh, well, for me, I went ice skating this week. I took my first ice skating lesson. You might say, oh, I went to the gym every day. But then some of you might have to reach the point of honesty where you're like, wow, I sat online consuming someone else's content instead of creating my own. Wow, I sat in front of the TV mind-numbingly. I wasn't even watching the show. I wasn't even engaged in what I was seeing for several hours. In those moments, you might start wanting to beat yourself up. And that's where I want you to pause, because right now it's just an inventory. We're just checking. We're just seeing, how are you actually using your resources? Because you are using them. They're not actually stiff or stagnant. They are flowing. They're just not flowing to things that are irreverent. Okay. So what the fuck do we do with stiffness around time and money and energy? We have to look at where it's already flowing and where is it going towards. Because up until this point, you've practiced looking at where your money is. You've canceled charges that don't make sense. Money is great. Technically, it's where your time and your energy are going that are actually extracting from your capacity to expand. And it's not until you get radically honest about what no longer serves you that you can actually begin to respond to it. And once you receive the reality you're in, it's nearly impossible to not respond to it. Meaning, if you fully accept and receive that you've been spending way too much time online, consuming someone else's content, not putting into practice, that you've been just mind-numbingly in front of the TV, or even some of you might have rituals and practices that you were doing ad infinitum, like you're spending 6 or 7 hours doing meditation and journaling and internal processing and all this stuff. And it's like, dude, how do you expect more energy to come in if you're just always internal, right? And the thing is, it's not an exact formula. We're not sitting here saying you need to spend 20% of your time on strategy and 20% of your time on sales and 20% of your time on internal work. That's not what it is. Life is too fluid for that. It's that you need to be in connection with yourself about how you are spending your time and energy, and if that is a reflection of your self-respect. Because if you are feeling stuck, stiff, and stagnant, it means that your time and your energy are going towards things that are not generating anything. Money, the things you spend your money on are always generating something. And it's a little more obvious, right? Going back to what I was saying earlier, you spend money on your rent or your mortgage, it's a roof over your house, that's generating something. You spend money on your utilities, it's generating heat. You spend money on your phone, it's generating connection. You spend money on the internet, it's generating source of income, whatever. It's always generating something. The thing that we get disconnected from is how our time and our energy and where we spend it is also generating something. But if we're not conscious about what it's generating, it will generate extraction. You will feel exhausted. You will feel limited. You will feel stuck, stiff, and stagnant. When you really want expansive flow and guidance and like just fucking living. Really what I'm taking you through here is like a very simplistic process that I'm teaching inside of License to Print. Because once you get really clear on where your time and energy going, then you have to be like, well, fuck, I can't do that thing anymore. What do I do now? That's where you get to respond. And you have to respond from the place that feels the most expansive, the most generative, the most exciting. And that might actually mean totally revolutionizing how you do life. That might actually mean closing things down, shutting off connections. That might actually mean limiting certain things from having access to you. But at the same time, it will for sure mean going where there's more, going where there's more than plenty of money for you to live the life that you want to live, going to where there's more than plenty of time for you to live how you want to live, and more than plenty of energy to be able to do all the things you want to do with your life. It's in that where the redesign comes in. And so License to Print Money is really the process of reflecting on reality, responding to it in a way that's resonant, and redesigning for the constant experience of energetic inflow. Because at the end of the day, life is circulatory, meaning we're not going to really feel alive unless we have an inhale and an exhale. We're not going to feel alive unless we have activations and rest. We're not going to feel alive if all we're doing is internally orienting to ourselves and not actually being out in the world. And listen, if you're an introvert or an extrovert, it just looks different. It's not that it has to look the same way as me. And that's the reason why License to Print Money is about you. It's about your process, your formula. I'm just guiding you through the process of how to give yourself the permission to make sure you have all of the resources you actually need. The permission internally to say, fuck it, I have my own license to print money. I'm going to make it how I want to make it. And not only just have money, but to have energy flowing in, to have time flowing in, because your stiffness isn't real. Your stiffness is your lack of participation in the energetic flow of fucking life. You're only stiff because you haven't allowed yourself to rest. You're only stiff because you haven't allowed your spine to move. You're only stiff because you need to brace for life, which just makes it harder. So my invitation to you is, one, you're going to drop a comment, or you're going to send me a message and you're going to say the word money. And when you say the word money, I'm going to send you the link to License to Print Money, because you need the permission for life to be a little more fluid, because it already is. You just got to get in the pool. You got to be able to see where it's already fluid and allow it to be more fluid than it's been. We're already contained in our lives. We need to be uncontained. We need to give ourselves full permission. License to Print Money is me guiding you through that process. And truth be told, you can apply this to any area of life, not just money, because the process I'm guiding you through is about resources. Giving yourself the permission to be like, I don't use my resources that way. I don't use my time on drama or gossip. I don't use my energy on fighting trolls on the internet. That one I'm working on. I don't use my money on things that aren't generative for my life and the life of the ones I love. That kind of permission, that kind of audacity, that kind of personal integrity, that's what we're doing. Because one of the things that I've noticed over the past couple of weeks is I was feeling like that. I was like, fuck, I feel stiff. I feel stagnant. And even last month, I was like, oh, I can just feel so stuck, you know? And when I realized, I was like, oh shit. It's because my business, what's taken me here isn't going to get me there. And I can respect and revere and love what's gotten me to this point in my life. And my life, the way that my life is flowing, if I keep hitting this dam, then I'm not going to let it grow, right? So you got to think about it in terms of like river flows even. A river will flow in the direction that's true, in the direction that's natural. The moment you put up a dam, it changes course. There's natural dams that exist. Introducing you to beavers, right? Introducing you to trees that fall, introducing you to natural chaos of human existence. The river will always diverge, but the river doesn't stop flowing. And so in your own internal world, there's going to be moments when you're like, shit, the river can't go that way anymore. So what do I do now? You can either keep trying to penetrate that river flow there, or the river will find the path of least resistance. It will create a new pathway. You have to choose to follow that too. You can either be the rubber ducky in the river, or you can try to be the drill that tries to carve a new way. And like, you could do either one, right? But what I had realized is that even in my own natural flow, even in the structure of my business, I was hitting a dam. There was no energy flow. It was stuck, it was stiff, and it was stagnant. And I'm like, fuck, what the hell do I do? Do I burn it all down? And I really thought I had to burn it all down. But if you just trust the flow of the energy, if you just allow yourself to be carved, or allow the river to carve you, it just means shit changes. So that's why at the end of this month, I'm no longer charging Canadian dollars for my financial intimacy work. It's going to be switched over to US. So if you want to be grandfathered in at Canadian rates, go do that now. Join bank this month, because it ain't going to be that forever. If you want live access to me, you have to be in bank or on my greater programs. Piggy Bank after this round will not have access to me. It will be a fully self-contained program that you do at your leisure for as long as it takes. And, I'm no longer doing monthly workshops people can opt into. Like, there's so much stuff that's like, literally, we're done. We're not doing that anymore. And so this isn't to create a sense of scarcity. It's just acknowledging the river ain't flowing there anymore. And I can force it, which is what has happened with the piggy bank, right? Is like, there's this way where I'm like, fuck, I'm like using axes and drills to try to chop down this tree, when it's like, actually, we're done. We're done with this. I'm still going to run the program as it is, and it's going to be the last run of it. But like, I can't force that program anymore. It's done. It's complete. It's now time to complete that cycle. It's time to get it on its own private podcast. It's time to allow people to just do it at their own pace. And that's it. And so in the spot of that, of like, fuck, like I have to redesign shit, I could get stuck again and stiff and be like really victimized that my business isn't flowing as it always has. Or I can see that there's a new path being carved, that there's just a new way. And, last night I had someone, just buy the financial first aid, which I have as a part of like, I'm redoing my funnels in my business and like redoing a bunch of stuff. This person signed up at 9 a.m. to watch a free masterclass. They bought my program at 2. I didn't know who they were. And prior to that, I think earlier on in the week, I was like, fuck, like, I don't know what to do here. Like, I don't know what my next step is. And the truth is I do know what the next step is. I've just been making it complicated because I've been unwilling to look at the reality, respond to it, and redesign it appropriately. And so all I needed was just that little bit of extra validation, of confirmation that where I'm going is where the river's flowing. The stiffness, the stagnancy, the intensity is only because I haven't been allowing myself to be the rubber ducky flowing through. Okay. So if you're interested in attending License to Print Money, I highly suggest you enroll. It is on January 20th. We start at 1 p.m. EST. It's a live program. And honestly, even if you're not an entrepreneur or freelancer or web designer or whatever, like if you're not someone who's even in control of your income, you can still attend. There will be a replay for you to use for however long I run the platform that it's on. And it's a great opportunity just to learn the process, because at the end of the day, it's not about me giving you a formula. It's that you have something within you that already tells you how you are supposed to do something and how you get to expand and grow. And if you don't actually listen to the formula that's within you, you will always outsource. You will always take someone's guidance over yours. You will always prioritize what happens externally to your own life, which means you have no sovereignty there, which means that someone else is dictating how you do business. That's someone else is telling you how do you do your life. But to be reverent with your resources means you have to be self-respecting about them, means it's got nothing to do with anybody else. My work is just to guide you back to that internal sense of formula, that internal sense of guidance, so that we can fine tune and ensure that you're really stepping out into who you are so that you can have the time, the money, and the power that is actually yours without giving it away and discounting yourself in the process. Okay. So I look forward to seeing you inside of License to Print. And if you can't be there live, no problem. There is a replay. So all you got to do is sign up. So you can drop the comment money and I will send you the link. You can message me money and I will send you the link. And considering that this is the price isn't going to change whether you attend live or not, sign up early so that you can be there live. Okay. Have a great day ahead of you. And I'll see you on the 20th. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to click subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. And if you want to dive deep into this kind of self-discovery that directly impacts your wallet, head to financiallyintimate.com to learn all about my courses and experiences. Building financial intimacy is about discovering the truth of who you are so you can have the wealth you desire without sacrificing yourself for it.